feel like I'm a pony. Brush in my hair. Spring is coming, got my flowers on my head, and I'm ready to go. And what happens when summer and springtime comes around is that I start picking up all my cameras again and shooting photographs. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but behind me on these shelves there are a lot of cameras. Did you know I was into cameras? Did you know? I just wanted to show them to you because I actually collect cameras, and these are most of the ones that I have. I'm gonna show you all my cameras and talk about what they're all good for, good at, why I like them, why I have them, because I don't just have them for show. First things first, here's my Polaroid. Now, Polaroids actually, the factory stopped making the film, but there's this thing called the Impossible Project, and they have been making experimental film that fits Polaroid cameras, and that is what I use. Yeah, I like Polaroids because the film I have is black and white, so you get kind of an eerie, mysterious, instantaneous result. And I found this at the thrift store, and it cost me $4. It's the business edition because I mean business. Next up is my fisheye camera. This is a camera that I got off of Lomography, and I also got underwater housing for it, so I can actually take 35mm film pictures underwater like I'm an actual fish with a fisheye. So this camera is great because you can get really up close and personal to your subject. It's really great for at parties because fisheyes are great for selfies, but all the pictures that you take come out in a circular form. Next up is my Brownie Hawkeye camera. It used to take 620 film, but then they stopped making 620 film. So now you can use 120 film in it, and it looks a little bit like this. It's a medium format camera. It's just really, really pretty. Look at it. So cute. And my Holga. Can't forget about Holga. This is a Holga 135 BC, which means that it takes 35mm film instead of 120 film, just like the Brownie camera I just showed you. The cool thing about the Holga is, one, it came with this flash, which has color filters on it, and I've used this flash on my camera that I'm filming on now. I've used it on the fisheye because the flash just gives cool color gradients, and you can like mix up the colors and make it look really neat by blending them and just being creative. And then the camera itself is nice because you can do double exposures, which I forgot to mention you can also do on the fisheye, but also the Holga is known for its really nice vignette effect. This is my only other digital camera, Panasonic Lumix LX3, and this is the first camera I learned how to do, or my first own camera that I learned how to do manual settings on. I really recommend the Lumix brand because they have Leica lenses, and they're not as expensive as Leica cameras, and they're just really beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful design, so yeah, I really like this guy. And last but definitely not least is my Canon T70. This is basically just your SLR analog camera. It takes 35mm film, and I have a bunch of lenses for this that I won't show you. This is a shutter priority camera, so it's not fully manual. I can't open it up right now because it has film in it, but the advanced is electronic, so you don't have to crank it. This is actually the second SLR that I have ever used. The first one I used was a Nikon EM1 or something with an E1, and I love that camera. It was great, but it didn't belong to me. I was borrowing it for a class, and then my dad got me this one because he had a bunch of old lenses left over. If any of you know your parents have lenses and you're into photography, definitely hit them up for those lenses because there's just something about film that is very different from what I can get with my DSLR. That is my curated list of cameras I love. If you want to know anything more about, how I got into photography, or if you want to see any of the pictures I've taken, I put a lot of my pictures up on Tumblr. Everything I post on Tumblr is my own. It's kind of like my brain, but like spewed onto a page. But I don't reblog anything, if that makes sense. And if I do, I would say so, but I really don't usually. I also recently set up a Facebook page for all of my photography, just kind of like an online portfolio. So I'll put that also in the link below, and you can like it if you want. I showed you all my cameras today, but I also actually developed my own black and white film. I didn't have time to grab all that supplies, but if any of you are interested in learning about that, I could talk about it a bit in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below about your first experience with a camera that you remember, or the first camera you owned, or I don't know, anything about cameras. Have a great week.